the institution of the state legislature in the United States.
The first public hearing of the Assembly and Senate Select Committees on improving state government was held in the state capitol.
The success of this project is going to boil down to one thing, and that's concrete results.
All of the committee members are serious about getting those concrete results through a series of hearings being held up and down the state.
Is there a relationship, as you've studied various state legislatures, between the rationing of bills and the ability of those legislators, either their technical ability to do it or their cultural acceptability to do it, of offering amendments and participating in other members' bills? And what are other ways that we can foster collaborative legislation versus competitive legislation?
And I'm just wondering if it is true, or a hypothesis might be, that legislatures who have an environment like we do with term limits, with such turnover, that you don't see much change.
Giving Californians more value for their tax dollars by making government more efficient and accountable. Requiring government to prioritize key issues so that we make the toughest decisions in the state and don't pass the buck. You know, cutting through the gridlock here of outmoded rules and sometimes undue partisanship. Making government more transparent and accessible, diminishing the influence of special interests, making government more customer-friendly.
There's some real enthusiasm about we might actually be able to do some meaningful changes and reforms that would improve state government. I don't think anyone denies that we can do a better job, and the public's perception of us is a reality. That's part of why we're doing it. It's part of the democratic process. But the real reason is all the members know, and I think all the staff knows here, that we really have to take a good internal inspection about the jobs we're doing.
And that's no easy task, considering the country's economic downturn, California's ever-changing population, and our state's sometimes antiquated system of government.
What we need to identify is what are the roadblocks keeping us from doing it, and how do we get beyond them, and how do we do it now?
The first hearing focused on questions about possible legislative branch reforms. Committee members heard from several witnesses addressing such questions as, how can the legislative branch function better? What's not working well? How can the legislature foster more bipartisanship? And how can the legislature improve its oversight and investigative functions?
What lessons can we learn from that experience?
Assemblymember Feuer and State Senator Mark DeSaulnier have set up guidelines and deadlines for the lawmakers and citizens to come up with substantive solutions to put California on the road to solving its problems.
In January, we'll emerge with a series of proposals that can be memorialized in rule changes, in statutory changes, and in ballot measures that we can agree to put before the voters.
These public hearings provide voters the chance to monitor the Reform Committee's progress as it takes best practices from across the nation and focuses on California's top priorities.
And I think at the end of the day, all voters care about is the result. And this is a very results-oriented process.
For more information on the government reform efforts, visit this website. This report has been produced by the Speaker's Office of Member Services.